If there's one thing that every keeper dreads, it is an animal in their care becoming seriously ill.
So dedicated are the keepers here, they often spend more time with the animals in their care than they do with their own families.
And it's not a job you can just switch off from. If they've got worries about their animals, they'll take them home with them.
Especially when those animals are new arrivals and still so vulnerable.
More of that later, but here's what's coming up on today's programme.
Catching a runaway without risking life and wing.
We don't want him to get too stressed. Birds that get stressed can die.
Lunch on the go for a ravenous reptile.
To see him just transform to a really fast killer. Yeah.
And shocking news for the koalas.
This is a massive alarm bell for us.
New arrivals to the park are always cause for celebration. And last autumn, staff were at the airport to welcome some extra special international guests.
There they are.
After more than 2 years of painstaking preparation, 5 southern koalas arrived safely from Australia.
They've literally just come out of the boxes now. Yeah, amazing.
5 months on, and the animals are settling in well.
Morning, girls.
As Europe's only southern koalas, they're part of a groundbreaking breeding and conservation programme. And helping them find their feet has been an incredible experience for keepers Chris and James.
Watching an animal grow is one of the most beautiful things. You just sort of get to know them really, and you watch them progress and move forward. Yeah.
Working at the park as a koala keeper and being able to come into these amazing individuals and to say hello and to work alongside them, it goes beyond being a dream come true.
But, exciting as it's been, the koala's arrival has also been tinged with tragedy. A couple of months after they got here, alarm bells were ringing for one of the females, Wilpina. As head of Animal Adventure, Graham explains.
We started to notice a sort of sudden weight drop, and it's one of the sort of first flags that we say, why is the weight dropping suddenly? But what we were also seeing was that she had normal eating habits, but she wasn't putting on any weight. Now that tells us that it's not necessarily a food issue, it's actually a water issue. Koalas get most of their liquid from the eucalyptus, and when a koala is eating a lot but not retaining that water, it often shows that there is a problem within the kidneys. And it became really apparent that her kidneys were not functioning at all.
Many southern koalas, in the wild and captivity, suffer from a kidney disease called oxalate nephrosis. No one knows yet what causes it or how to cure it. Some animals can have it and live a reasonably normal life. Others, like Wilpina, aren't so lucky.
We did expect that at some stage we may have a kidney issue koala. We believed that we could try and maintain Wilpina on a sort of fluid therapy. However, just sort of towards the tail end of the year, her behaviour started to change. So she stopped wanting to eat, her ears were flat, her general demeanour she was a lot sleepier, which for a koala that sleeps 18 hours a day, that's a real warning sign. And really, the minute that they stop willingly eating on their own, there isn't very much we can do anymore. So unfortunately, we did make the decision that the kindest thing for her would be to put her to sleep.
When she died, Wilpina had been at the park for less than 3 months. Everyone here knew that koalas were prone to disease, and that looking after them was never going to be easy. But that hasn't prepared the keepers for the heartbreak of losing one so early in the project. Kate's caught up with John and Chris to see how they're getting on.
How are you coping in the light of what happened to Wilpina? I mean, for Chris, you particularly.
Actually, she died in my arms, a really sort of emotional thing. Oxalate nephrosis is a very painful thing for koalas to go through, and it's very sort of slow. It's a kidney problem, so they can feel it, they lose their appetite.
John, when something like this happens, I mean, we all know you look after animals, and at some point you're going to lose them. Does it ever get easy?
I don't think it does. I don't think it does get any easier. As an animal keeper, you're always trying to give the animals the best that you can, but the kidney issues with them, it's just something that they come with. It's part of the package. So, you know, some koalas will have the issues, and you can medicate them, and they'll live out their whole life, you know, just on medication.
Yeah.
And then others, Wilpina, perfect example, it just hits them like a bus, and there's no coming back from it.
No. I mean, for you, Chris, can there be a positive from Wilpina's death, do you think?
It's all about learning. Straight away, I did a whole comprehensive PM.
Post-mortem, that is,
Post-mortem, yeah, PM, and sent off samples of everything over to universities. I saw actually what a kidney damaged by oxalate nephrosis looks like. Once you actually see something right in front of you, you tend to understand something a little bit better, I think.
The universities that have been studying koalas in the UK, and they've never had a koala kidney or a sample. So if something good can come out of that, it'd be wonderful for the species.
The lovely koalas that are still here, we mustn't forget them. Are their personalities beginning to emerge? Are they real individuals?
Yeah, for sure. We've got Dennis, the young boy, who's really hormonal.
So he's like a sort of teenage boy, is he?
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got Maisie with the big white fluffy ears.
Yeah.
She's quite needy, she wants attention, she wants to be hugged. Kurong is a tiny bit like that. And then we've got one called Violet, who just bites all the keepers. So that's
She's the grumpy one, is she? And where would Wilpina have fitted in? What was she like?
It was a kind of a medium between Kurong and Violet.
Right, so kind of the Violet, but still
if
quite,
you get on the wrong side, you know. Like,
you had to charm her.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like Wilpina sort of lives on and will be a great contribution to the knowledge and hopefully future of these amazing animals. Thank you both very much.
In a park with over 140 different species, you're never short of weird and wonderful sights. But some residents take a little gentle persuasion to show off their hidden talents. Jean's catching up with keeper Becky and the park's most unlikely athlete, King Tut, the Nile monitor lizard.
Look at him go, Becky.
He's fab, isn't he?
He's great. I want to see him in action. What are you looking for today?
I am looking for him to run.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
I am looking for him to be climbing. I want him interested, so using his tongue. He'll use his tail when he runs for balance. So I want to see some of that tail movement.
Yeah. So it's a bit of an all-over body workout for him.
Not only for his body, but Nile monitors are incredibly intelligent animals. And out in the wild, they will work together to get their food. So I want him thinking about what he's doing. Every day should be different. Keep him nice and happy, nice and stimulated.
As well as being great climbers, obviously they live in the Nile, so good swimmers as well.
Absolutely incredible swimmer. He's the second largest reptile in the Nile, bar the Nile crocodile. You can see that his nostrils are on top of his head, so he's highly aquatic. His tail, very strong, works like an oar, so it will propel him through the water. Those strong legs will do exactly the same.
Because he is a bit of a chilled-out guy around the park, you know, he likes to bask in the sun and just, his life goes at a slow pace, doesn't it?
He's very relaxed, his eyes have just shut, so he's...
Don't fall asleep. So how are we going to get him going?
It sounds a bit strange. Litter pickers.
Okay.
A rat.
Right.
And me running around.
Right, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
There's a litter picker and a rat. I'll just stand out the way.
Much. There we go.
Oh, tongue's out. Wow, look at him go. That is like a different lizard.
So what I need him to do now is to wrestle with me to get the rat.
How strong is that while you're pulling it?
He's really strong.
I can see you're struggling there.
He's really strong, really powerful. Jaw, and he's got very sharp peg-like serrated teeth. And when he gets hold of something, it's very difficult to get it off him again.
Nobody's going to get that right off him.
And that is incredible monitor behaviour.
Great.
That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see him a little bit frantic. It's one of the things they're so famous for, monitors. They're very sprightly lizards.
I saw how he climbed up those logs, no problem.
Yep, absolutely no problem. Out in the wild, he would clamber over log piles like this, tree roots. There is not very much that would get away from him. Then you'll see he's whipping it from side to side. Again, an incredible behaviour to see. It's exactly what he should do out in the wild when he's got his prey.
And he's just going to swallow this whole?
He is going to swallow it whole. They're not wasteful creatures, lizards. He eats pretty much anything he can grab hold of.
It's been so great to see him just transformed from the sleepy, chilled-out King Tut that I know to a really fast, respondent killer.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to watch him when he really does get going.
There are plenty of cheeky characters living here in the park, and Ronnie, the red-crested turaco, is one of them. Now, in the wild, these colourful birds are known for their ducking and diving. So catching Ronnie, who's off to a new home, was always going to be a challenge. The nippiest bird in the park, Ronnie's ruled the roost in the butterfly house since he arrived here earlier in the year. But his home is being refurbished, so in a few days' time, he's moving to a new collection in Essex. Keeper James has been here for 6 years and has worked on nearly every section from carnivores to butterflies and birds.
Because of how Ronnie flies and how he moves around the house, he's not in midair for long. They don't really fly, they more hop and glide between branches, making a capture particularly difficult.
James's plan is to limit Ronnie's escape options by hanging nets and blankets around the butterfly house.
He already knows. He already knows. He's gone to the highest possible point in the butterfly house. May make everything slightly more difficult.
But one tiny bird brain can't outsmart 4 fleet-footed keepers, can it? Or maybe it can. Ronnie's living up to his reputation as one of the fastest birds in the West Country.
Insane, really.
He's very quick, he's very skittish. If we get anywhere near him, he takes off.
Red-crested turacos come from the same family as cuckoos and are the national bird of their native Angola. Because they live in dense forest, they glide and hop from branch to branch, exactly the way Ronnie zooms around the butterfly house.
We only have a finite amount of tries. Birds that get too stressed can die.
With capture becoming a matter of life and death, James decides to call off the chase.
He's definitely won the battle. He has not won the war.
For now, at least, it's bird 1, James 0. But with Ronnie's move to a new collection happening any day, time's running out for the keepers to catch him.
I've been coming to the park now for over 20 years. I've seen amazing changes and met hundreds of incredible animals.
You are the most beautiful cat in the world.
But for me, the arrival of the koalas has been one of the most exciting moments ever.
Hello, Maisie.
And this morning, I'm catching up with the man whose vision made the dream a reality, Viscount Weymouth, or Seolin to his friends.
Gosh, absolutely beautiful, beautiful day.
On a day like this, I mean, it doesn't really get better, does it?
It's absolutely stunning.
We're in a corner of the estate that will be vital for the koalas' survival here.
It's slightly unusual.
to be standing in the Wiltshire countryside, surrounded by eucalyptus plantation.
Mm-hmm.
Explain yourself, Siorlin.
So, out of 500 strains of eucalyptus koalas in general, only eat about 40. Ours prefer 6 of the total, and so we're growing 6 strains here.
So this is basically a kind of giant buffet for koalas.
The difference being that the koalas can't come here and help themselves to the buffet. It
I
has to be brought to them.
I would expect nothing less that they get silver service.
100%.
Eventually, the 8 acres of eucalyptus here should produce up to 30 kilos of leaves a week. That's around half the koala's intake. The whole project, from custom-made living quarters to the special koala hospital, has taken more than 2 years to complete. It's been a massive investment, but everyone involved has been committed from day one.
The keepers who are looking after the animals, have they had some special training to be able to make sure that they have the best possible care?
2 of our keepers were embedded out with the team in Cleveland, Australia, for a considerable period of time. So they have onboarded a great deal of koala knowledge.
Right. I mean, you've obviously put an enormous amount into this. There's the physical cost of bringing these animals here and the training of the staff. I mean, is it worth it, really?
Yeah, it is. They're very, very prone to disease. They are vulnerable to extinction. Their natural habitat is becoming increasingly smaller. So to be responsible for something that would hopefully lead to research initiatives and processes which could ultimately be the saviour of this species globally is very inspiring.
What is the ultimate goal? What do you hope will come from this project?
We hope that our current 4 koalas will breed and multiply and be many more than they currently are. But beyond that, our hope is that some of the diseases that koalas are susceptible to, we hope to provide the key to unlocking that mystery.
Well, I wish you huge luck with it.
Thank you so much.
And this is absolutely wonderful. And in sunshine like here, we could be in Queensland.
Couldn't be better, could it?
Siorlin and the park staff are leaving no stone unturned in their quest to make the koalas comfy here. They've even introduced some other species native to Australia. Jean's gone along to meet keeper Alessandra and the mini marsupials destined to be the koalas' new neighbours.
Alessandra, what on earth are these? I've never seen anything quite like them.
These are long-nosed Potoroos.
Potoroos, right, okay. Any relation to kangaroos?
Yes, in fact, these are the smallest species of the marsupial family.
Oh.
And they are also the most ancient.
Actually, I can see it now. When they stand up, they've got that little kangaroo stance. How strong are their legs?
Compared to the size of their body, they're actually incredibly strong, very similar to a kangaroo, and that gives them that perfect ability to just jump and hop as fast as they need to away from all those predators.
But they've got little ratty faces.
They do. In fact, they are commonly known as rat kangaroo.
Ah, okay.
No relation to the rat, but it's because they do have those sort of similar features.
Look, someone's stealing some food. Yeah, they're hungry.
This is Mia, so this is our female. She was one of the first arrivals. As you can see, she's quite bold.
Straight into the food,
Yes, she's taken it straight away. And we've also got her partner, Matari. So Matari is hopefully her boyfriend. So fingers crossed, in the next coming months, we're going to see some baby Potoroos.
Oh, how cute would that be? I mean, these guys are already quite small, so are they like kangaroos in that they have joeys?
Yes, so they're incredibly small when they're born. They weigh less than a 5p piece.
No.
They're smaller than the jelly bean.
That is tiny. So they'll carry that in the pouch for how long?
Around 120 to 130 days.
Yeah.
And then after that, it will start to roam around and it will hang around with mum for another 40 days or so.
Okay.
And by that point, it should be completely weaned.
Come on, gorgeous. Come on. There you go. A little nose twitching away there. How's their sense of smell?
Really good sense of smell. It will help them find other things like seeds and insects in the wild, which they're also partial to.
And are they vulnerable?
Potoroos are classed as vulnerable in the wild. One of the reasons being A lot of pests were introduced to Australia, such as foxes and cats. And that means that their population has been quite fragmented because where the pests live, obviously there are no more Potoroos. So it has caused a bit of a problem for them.
And you brought them here to kind of have company for the koalas, is that right?
Almost. So in the wild, where you find koalas, you should find Potoroos because they are almost ecosystem engineers. They are really important. They eat fungi. And when they eat it, they disperse all the spores around, which help keep the eucalyptus trees healthy.
Ah, so they're actually quite helpful to the koalas in the wild?
Very helpful.
And how are they getting on here on the park?
2 of the koalas don't mind, but our very independent Violet has been very interested in them, taken a few swipes, but luckily she's too lazy to come down from the tree.
Right, okay, so they're not exactly living in harmony. That's fair enough. Have they all got names?
That's a very good question. So Mia and Matari have obviously got names.
Yeah.
This particular individual here doesn't have a name at the moment, and I was hoping you'd like to name him.
Oh, I'd love to. And you know, you don't have any genes on this park, so...
We don't. However, we would prefer an Australian name, I'm afraid.
Right, okay. I've got a good one.
What is it?
Boomerang.
I love it. That's amazing. That's really good. It's Boomerang.
A little boomerang
Right,
Potoroos. Well, they're fascinating, and I'm glad you got them around, even if the koalas aren't too keen.
Rubbing along with the neighbours, even some pretty unlikely ones, is all part and parcel of life for plenty of the animals here. Not all of them are determined to stick with their improbable new chums. But in the butterfly house, Ronnie, the runaway Turco, is bucking the trend. He's still showing zero interest in leaving. But can he really hold out for much longer?
This is our second attempt at trying to get Ronnie. We tried to catch him up before, and that didn't work.
Next in line to take on the tearaway Turco, keeper Emily. Armed with 10 years of animal experience, she's using the psychological approach.
This time we're going to try and see whether we can get him to come down to the platform with his favourite food, which is blueberries and grapes.
As soon as Ronnie comes down for a treat, Emily can pop him in the carrier. But Ronnie knows something's up. He's not stayed on the run for this long to give it all up for a bit of fruit salad.
He's just up here having a good look.
When he moves to the new collection, Ronnie could well have a mate to keep him company. Maybe he just prefers the bachelor life.
Good boy. Come on then.
It might just be that Emily's cracked it. Nearly there. Ah. But she's not giving up without a fight. If she can't bribe Ronnie down, maybe she can trick him.
I'm going to put the food up in the box, and hopefully he'll get used to the box coming down. But as you can see, he knows. I've got some baling twine here, and I'm going to attach it to the top of the door with the hope that when he goes in, someone can pull it and shut it. Okay, food in.
Fellow keeper Kim is poised on the wing.
If we try it and I don't shut the door quickly, he manages to push it, then unfortunately that is the last chance that we've got to do that, because he's so clever that he will then just avoid the box.
We're ready to go.
But the smart money's got to be on Ronnie.
Ron, come on. So at the moment, Ronnie's not really interested at all. Come on, Ron. Ronnie.
Giving us a bit of a run around.
Come on.
Ronnie's beaten the net team and the stealth team.
Right, I think he's messing with us.
Time to call in the big guns.
Animal Venture to Ryan. You can come in with the nets and the crew now, please.
Yeah, on my way.
The reputation of the park's resident bird whisperer precedes him.
I heard that one time he caught an ostrich with a tea strainer.
Has Ronnie finally met his match?
The arrival of the koalas has been a massive learning curve for everyone here. And now, after months of getting to know each other, both creatures and keepers have settled into a routine. But after the trauma of losing poor Wilpina so early on, everyone's constantly on high alert for worrying signs amongst the remaining animals.
We have to sort of bubble wrap our four and make sure that our population and all the effort that went in across the world to bring them here is worth it.
Koalas are one of the most difficult animals to look after in captivity. Graham and his team need to give them regular health checks, which could mean the difference between life and death.
With an animal that sleeps 18 hours a day, it's really easy to miss something with them, which is why the keepers spend a huge amount of their time looking at what comes out of them and what goes into them.
The park's 4 koalas tip the scales between 5.5 and around 7.5 kilos, and twice a week there's a mass weigh-in.
They lose a little bit of weight, it's like losing like 10 kilos as for a human. So we keep an eye on everything that we possibly can.
Chris was one of the 2 keepers who went to Australia to learn about caring for the new arrivals. And today, he's showing John how to weigh Maisie in the koala-friendly scales.
As soon as you see that she's going to go onto the tree, get rid of this hand. Okay. Because if not, this hand will sort of get stuck in here. Yeah? Okay. So as soon as you see that, let go and place her bum into here. We'll see how it goes. I'll hold this for you. Good girl. And now she just wants to pop back up to me.
But it's not straightforward because Maisie is the clingiest koala.
Do try again. I'll stay a little bit further out. No more cuddles. No more cuddles.
Try to eat.
Right, mate. Yeah.
Second time lucky and a perfect weight for Maisie. 5.8 kilos. All that koala bulk comes from one food source, eucalyptus leaves. They each munch through a kilo of the stuff a day. Knowing what goes in is important, but keeping up with what comes out the other end is vital.
Each koala should have at least 200 poos per individual.
That's a grand total of 800 poos a day, not to be sniffed at.
We actually count every single poo that's in here, both looking at what shape it is, what colour it is. It should be quite an oval shape, a bit like maybe a rugby ball, and that just indicates the koala has the right amount of hydration within it. If they are a bit small or a bit long, it might indicate they're not eating enough. Next is the colour. This is pretty much spot on, so dark, kind of brownishy colour. Too light or too dark can indicate, once again, a lack of hydration. And that is purely down to they get 100% of the water content from the food they eat.
So that's the poos, but the wees are just as important.
You might like this one. Hey, Dennis.
Especially given the fact that Wilpina died from a kidney disease that all koalas are vulnerable to. So from the day they first arrived, the keepers have tested their wee to check for signs of trouble.
Kidney issues in southern koalas are all to do with genetics and all to do with the fact that they've evolved to eat such a specialized diet. And the main reason why we collect urine samples is to determine whether kidneys are working properly.
But koalas wee just once a day, and it's the one and only time they come down from the treetops to have a wander on the ground. The keepers have to be on high alert if they want to get these all-important samples, because when a koala's got to go, it's got to go.
I need a key, I need a key, I need a key, I need a key, I need a key. You only got one chance. If not, they'll pop back up the tree and you'll never get them.
John's now got to get a sample from Maisie.
In the moment when she feels settled, then you can swap the tray on that side and your hand in front of her face. Yeah?
The koalas should wee as soon as they reach the ground. Holding a hand in front stops them wandering off, while a tray is slipped under them to catch the wee.
Bit of a stroke on her bum. There we go.
Is that enough, Chris?
It is enough.
I don't think I've ever been happier to see an animal go to the toilet. Unsurprisingly, it really stinks.
Not the most fragrant job in the world, but it's the only surefire way to sniff out the kidney disease that killed Wilpena. And now Keeper James is about to test a sample from 3-year-old Violet.
We start off by taking a very small amount and using this amazing tool. It's called a refractometer. We use it basically to check the level of the urine and how prone the koala can be to kidney issues. It's something which we were testing with Wilpena to her last day. And generally, the higher the number, the better it is.
Anything lower than 1.04 is a cause for concern because it may mean that the koala has the potentially lethal disease oxalate nephrosis. And it's bad news because Violet's reading is a worrying 1.038.
With Violet and her urine, she is a little low on kidney score numbers. That in itself should be a massive alarm bells for us and a bit of a kind of a panic station, especially after Wilpena, bless her.
Violet's result could be a sign that she has the fatal illness that wiped out Wilpena. Lives here at Koala Creek may be under threat once more.
So Graham, it's been a really tough time for everybody working with the koalas, losing Wilpena and Violet not being well. Will you keep us posted on her progress?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, on a happier note, I can't believe how Newt has grown.
Hasn't he?
Newt was Newt-sized when I last met him, and now he's squashing me.
Yeah, he's definitely matured into the, I suppose, the stud of the family farmyard. He's the adult male down here now, and the future breeding male as well.
Yeah, now you say that, because hasn't there been an unexpected new arrival with the wallabies?
Yeah, so we made a decision to let Newt father some future offspring, but we've had a baby already, which is quite surprising.
Isn't he too young?
Yeah, he hasn't quite worked his magic yet, but we do think that one of the females has actually withheld some eggs that have already been fertilised from a previous breeding.
Is that something that wallabies can do?
Yeah, so from a mating, they can have up to 3 offspring, really. So they can have one in the pouch, one in the womb ready to go, and then one following behind. So it's they're quite prolific.
What an astonishing thing. I've never heard that before.
So can a female effectively choose when she wants to kind of allow the fertilisation to progress into growing the joey?
Yes, it's a real neat adaptation for a lot of marsupials, particularly kangaroos and the wallabies, where they'll make sure that the conditions are right before they allow it to implant. And then it's only really a sort of 30-day gestation period before the little I suppose a little pea comes out and climbs up and into the pouch and then develops for the next 6 months in there.
Absolutely amazing. And how long will it be before Newt can start passing on his rather splendid genes?
Well, I think he's almost there. He's already got the attitude. The hormones are kicking through.
Yeah.
He's fighting with the other boys already. By the end of the summer, I think he'll probably have worked his magic.
He still likes a cuddle, though,
He
doesn't
does still like a cuddle, as long as you keep him occupied.
But he wants to get down. There you go, Newt.
Oh, well, that is wonderful, wonderful news, Graham. Thank you very much indeed, and we shall look forward to following the joey's progress.
A group of wallabies is known as a mob, and the latest joey brings the mob here to a healthy 21. And the good news doesn't stop with the marsupials. There are some precious new kids on the block for another species too. And Jean's out on patrol with senior keeper Kev to see if she can spot them.
So what are we going to see, Kev?
We're going to go and look at the pet avid deer. Last week we had a fawn born, and then just yesterday morning we discovered another one.
2 paired avid calves. I mean, that is amazing and very important, isn't it?
It's hugely important for the pet avid species. They were classed as extinct in the wild at one point, and they were probably down to single figures as a world population.
That is rare.
That is very rare, and you know they've bred very well in captive populations. There's a world population now of over 5,000. And here we have one of the calves here, actually with the group. What deer and hoofstock species tend to do is that when they give birth, they normally hide the calves.
Yeah, they lead them
so
away.
either in a patch of nettles, we've got ditches around this area, and the mum will go back and feed it periodically throughout the day.
So after how long will they allow the calf to come out and be with the rest of the group?
It varies on the calf, anything from 2 or 3 days to maybe 2 weeks or so. Mums are very protective. They've even chased our vehicle away, made us know that she's not happy with us being around.
They're just so easily spooked, aren't they?
They are very easily spooked, so everything we do with them is from a vehicle or from a distance. In the past, we have tried to tag the calves, and that's caused a few issues. So we stay well away. I don't want to stress the mum out too much, so she runs away and leaves her either.
So even the scent of us could make the mother reject the baby?
It could, it definitely could. So yeah, that's why we don't want to touch the calf at all.
And in terms of the international breeding programme, how important is it that one of the calves, hopefully, is a girl?
Hopefully, yeah. The females are great for us, and then we can keep breeding them and send them off to other collections as well.
Is this little one a female? Can you tell?
Unfortunately, it's very difficult to sex them. So what we have to do really is wait for it to toilet.
So we're waiting for this little one to do a pee, basically.
Pretty much.
But then how can you tell?
When a male would, or wee, it would kind of come from under its belly more, whereas a female would come out from under the tail. So it's just guessing or gauging where the urine is coming from. It's not very scientific, but it does work.
And they're such amazing looking animals. What is it that makes the paired avid so distinctive?
They are. The male there, he's kind of molted a little bit, and he's got this reddy, orangey colour to his fur. But they've adapted quite long, wide hooves, and they're very good swimmers. They live in marshland, so these wide hooves help them get through the marshes.
But like athletes.
Very much like athletes. Swimming, running, you name it, they can do it.
They're just so unique, and that's why it's so important, this breeding programme, to make sure that they live on.
That's right. They've come from very low numbers, and now we are part of this massive breeding population, a worldwide one, and that's why our collection is very important. If anything did happen anywhere else, we can then repopulate.
We're actually very lucky to have a collection here.
Definitely. This is our rarest animal we've got, but they're so hardy. Like I say, they're very athletic, so they just look after themselves really well. But yeah, they're on a knife edge still.
Of all the weird and wonderful creatures on this park, who would have thought that deer would be the most rare?
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Day-to-day care of the 1,500 or so animals here takes love, patience, and teamwork.
Yeah.
But when you're up against escape artists like red-crested Turco Runaway Ronnie, you need a keeper with the X factor. Meet the park's resident bird whisperer, Ryan.
Most of the time, he moves like a sloth, but when it comes to catching birds, he's like a crocodile.
His desk job is the park's animal registrar, but he's also a bird-wrangling genius.
He's like a ninja.
2 keepers have already failed to capture Runaway Ronnie.
This is Last Chance Saloon.
But Ryan reckons he's got what it takes to bring him in.
To be a good bird catcher, you need really good reflexes, good hand-to-eye coordination. You need to make sure that you're confident you can make that catch.
But Ronnie and Ryan have history.
He doesn't have a particularly good impression of me. When he first arrived, it was me that took him out of the box and had to weigh him and health check him, so obviously that was a bit of a stressful time for him, so he's always associated that arrival here with me, so we've never quite seen eye to eye.
If Ryan doesn't nab Runaway Ronnie today, our birdie escape artist may not make it to the new collection. So, leaving nothing to chance, Ryan's brought in his posse.
Well, the plan is hopefully put a few different people in different spots, keep him moving, get him a little bit more sort of tired, and then hopefully catch him up fairly quickly.
The technical approach hasn't worked, nor has psychology. Could success lie in strength of numbers and Ryan's hit rate with the birds?
Where is he?
Don't know.
He's over there. He's over there. I've lost eyes. Where is he?
He's at that end.
Yeah. Where's he going?
It's in this corner. Come back. Come back.
Right, he is tiring though.
But Ronnie's still full of life and still on the run.
Yeah, bring him around this way if we can.
Oh.
Right, he's down here. Yeah, no, he's
back up high.
He's just, oh, he's down. Push him down this way, into the bushes again. Very, very fast. He's getting lower though, that's what we want.
He's getting lower.
Trapped himself in the corner, Ryan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Ryan's cornered his man and earned himself a fistful of feathers.
Well done.
He's probably the most agile bird I think I've ever had to catch.
Yeah.
Ready? Right, I'm not going to let go till...
Fabulous.
Ronnie's finally behind bars, and it's time to run him out of town.
This time, I think Ronnie was an extremely worthy adversary. But Ryan was the one to catch him in the end, so obviously it paid to bring the big guns in.
Well, it's the end of another animal pack day here.
It is, and sadly that's all we've got time for on today's show, but we've got lots coming up on the next one. In the meantime, though, Matilda, say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
And here's the pecking order
on the next one.
Alarm in Koala Creek as Violet takes a turn for the worst.
You get that knot in your tummy where you just think, oh my goodness, there's something not right here.
Can ageing legendary rock star iguana Iggy Pop survive a health crisis?
Anesthetic death is the highest risk.
And why these gentle giants should be given a wide berth.
They could kick a line and potentially kill it.
Steady, that's it. All right.